So Flea has had a fair few signature basses over the years, with his current one being a pretty modern looking jazz bass with Fender, but I currently have these two Flea basses in the household, so I thought, while I've got them, let's have a bass battle. So look, this really is just a bit of fun, so please try not to take this too seriously. I know that these are two very different basses. It's just my thoughts on it, just a bit of fun, right? So we're gonna do 7 rounds and it's 1 point per round win. So let's get on with it, shall we? So round 1 is unique features, and both of these guitars are pretty stacked when it comes to those. The Fender Flea signature road worn bass is a nitro relic finish with vintage vibes for days. It's based on Flea's original 61 jazz bass, and it does a pretty impressive job of replicating it. The Modulus, on the other hand, is on the opposite end of the scale. It's super modern and it has this awesome blue metal flake finish. But the most unique feature has to be that carbon fiber neck. And while personally I prefer the Fender's features overall, I have to admit that neck really seals the deal for round 1 for the Modulus. Plus, I'm a sucker for a sparkle finish. Round 2 is hardware, and while there's nothing wrong with the Modulus, I don't find the hardware particularly inspiring. The Fender, on the other hand, has all road-worn parts, and being the absolute sucker for vintage and relic guitars I am, that really does it for me, so the Fender takes this round. Round 3 is electronics, and honestly both guitars are really excellent on that front. The Modulus has an active humbucker with a built-in preamp, and it's super punchy. It sounds absolutely monster in Flea's hands. The Fender has 2 USA pure vintage 64 jazz bass pickups with individual volume and tone controls, and for me it has a far wider range of tones that I like. This was a close one, but round 3 goes to the Fender. Round 4 is accessories, and this will be a real quick one. The Fender comes with a gig bag, the Modulus comes with a hard case. That's about it, and for me, a hard case is always going to win, so the Modulus takes this round. So we are neck and neck, no pun intended, going into round 5, and round 5 is build quality. Now, country of origin matters less and less these days, but back in 2003, when this particular bass was built, it mattered a whole lot more. US built was clearly better than Mexican built back in those days, but I don't think you can necessarily say the same today. The Modulus is US built, and it feels absolutely rock solid. The neck feels amazing, and overall it feels really well put together. The Mexican Fender factory have really stepped up the game over the last 5 to 10 years, and they've been putting out more and more signature models from that factory. And honestly, I've not got a single bad word to say about Fender's quality with this particular bass. It's noticeably lighter as well. This is a tough one to call. So yeah, this one is really close, and honestly, I don't think I can call it. So we're going to call this a draw, and we'll go into round 6, neck and neck, with 3 points each. So with 2 rounds left to go and both guitars at the same score, it's clearly going to come down to the money, and this round is all about cost. And it's a little bit of a complicated story. My brother bought this Modulus bass back in 2003 for 1,500 quid, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you adjust for inflation, that's more like £2,700 in today's money. Not that you can actually buy the Flea endorsed Modulus anymore, since Flea went to Fender. If you wanted to buy the Modulus Funk Unlimited, that is the current production of this guitar without the Flea association, you're looking at over $4,000. The Fender has its own complicated story as well. My wife bought this back in 2017 when it cost just under $1,000 at 950 quid. It has, however, seen several price increases since then, and it now sits at around £1,400 retail. With all that said, I think this round has to go to the Fender. Yes, it's expensive for a Mexican built guitar, but boy, that Modulus is a pricey boy. Even if you wanted to buy a used version of the Flea associated one, you're still looking at over £2,000 from what I've seen on Reverb. So yeah, Fender wins this round. With all that said, in the previous round, it's probably pretty easy to guess where round 7 value for money is going to land. Well, let's not beat around the bush. It absolutely goes to the Fender. I just think features to price ratio, the Fender's got so much going for it. So yeah, Fender gets this round for me. And with a clear lead over the Modulus, the Fender Flea Road Worn Signature Bass wins it 5 points to 3. Like I said though guys, I know that these are very different basses. It is just a bit of fun. I know they're kind of aimed at very different players. I'm just really into Fender and vintage style Fenders, so I think it was probably inevitable that this was going to win it for me. That said though, I absolutely love both of these guitars, and I'm really not looking forward to having to give that Modulus back to my brother. Which of Flea's past or present signature basses would win it for you? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching guys and making it all the way to the end. If you did like the video, maybe give it a thumbs up, and if you really liked it and you're not already subscribed, maybe consider subscribing down below. This isn't the first time I've done a kind of silly versus video on a channel, so if you liked it and you want to check out another one, I did a comparison between the Adam Jones Les Paul Epiphone and the Jerry Cantrell Epiphone. I'll link that over here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers. My wife bought this back in 2017. My wife